How are you doing?
Good, and yourself?
Good, good. You look beautiful as always. So tell us about getting this part in the movie.
Well, this is far from my first film with our lovely director, James Bamford, and not my first film with Stephen Paul, our producer, as well. So this was a joy to jump back into. Anytime James calls me up, I will be there. He's become like a father to me in this
Oh,
industry and life. But I've shadowed him as a director myself. I've watched his directing career flourish, having started working with him back in the Arrow days. And he's just the most wonderful, honest, kind director. And I will always show up for him when he needs me. And I'm just grateful he keeps calling me. But we talked a lot about this character because I am usually the tiny blonde lady who kicks a bunch of ass in a film. That's not Cassie in this, and that's it's a bit of a challenge to go. Okay, well then where do I fit in this film, and where does her strength lie, and what does Cassie bring to the table, to this team and to this story? And obviously, when James called me, he goes, I've already added in some action for her because we can't use you on a film and have you not do any action because that's
right.
and I said, well, thank you. That makes it more fun for me. But then also I was really inspired by the scene where Cassie brings Nathaniel a glass of water and is the first one to truly be kind to him, but then also doesn't hesitate to tell him what for and exactly what she thinks about his wavering moral compass and his choices and the consequences thereof. And it's sort of that sort of unfiltered spice, as another journalist called it today, and sort of fearlessness that I wanted to bring that out more as Cassie's strength. And it is her moral compass that guides her, and she is the a movable object that goes up against the unstoppable force of chaos in this film and
Right.
becomes one sort of emotional pillar to hang on to, and that becomes her strength. And I found that really a different, interesting journey to play in a film of this nature.
Right. Yeah. I liked one moment, particular moment you did right after you first shoot someone, and then you reacted like, oh my God, what did I do? Kind of thing. It was very normal and real, so not something probably would have done in Arrow or that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because in most of the other projects I've done, it's someone who's been doing that for ages, and it's a thing. It's a part of her life. But that was a huge part of the journey. It's the only part of, even when it comes to her relationship with Jake, she's known him her whole life, but the only part of his life that she doesn't understand is when he was in the service and when he was overseas fighting for the military. And she gets a small taste of it in this sort of siege that's happening, and then suddenly realizes he's been through a lot more than she can even fathom.
Right, right. So what was the most fun thing that you got to do in the movie?
I think for me the most fun is getting to play with the cast, and it's such a fantastic cast, from obviously John Voight, who's an icon, to Henry and Charlie, who have been fans of their work forever, to James, who comes in and plays our incredibly delicious villain, and then the stunt team I worked with before on Air Force One Down as well, that I did with James and Stephen. It became sort of a lovely family throughout the whole time. And when you're shooting nights and you're in Bulgaria and it's cold, and everybody just kind of bonds together, and you have an amazing time telling this story of it's so that's the thing about a Western, is you
Yeah.
have all the characters that are so rich and so full and have such conviction, and then you get to just set them all against each other or together with each other and just let them loose. And that became my favorite aspect of this.
It's cool. Yeah, it's funny because I love Westerns, but this is almost like a horror movie in a way to me. One by one. And then except in a horror movie, probably everyone would have died or there'd only be one person standing. But
True. That's true. It probably would have been John Voight, let's all be real.
that's right. There you go.
but but
Um,
I love what they're doing with that. And then that's James Bamford as a director. He was able to build the dread and the suspense so much through the film that it really took on a color all its own.
Definitely. So were there stunt doubles or did you do your own stunts?
This one was me, which I was, obviously in Air Force One Down, I had a stunt double because they wouldn't let me, get hit by a car or go through a wall or jump off a building or, do the aerial gymnastics things that I'm not a gymnast. I don't know how to do. So obviously, like you have a stunt double for that. But I didn't have a ton of action in this, and so it was all things that James and the stunt team knew were perfectly within my capabilities. And it was great. It's a team of stuntmen that I've worked with before and had an amazing time with. So it was like coming home again. I
Oh,
truly,
that's
truly
fine.
ended of it.
So you shoot guns in this movie, and also you shot in Walker Independence, and in Arrow you were shooting arrows. Which weapon do you like best?
Oh, I prefer a bow and arrow to a gun any day.
It's pretty cool.
I will say knife work is probably my favorite type of action to do, just because it's a brain teaser and action combined, and that's both sides of my personality that are just so happy. But no, bow and arrow for sure. I've been doing archery since I was a Girl Scout as a
Oh,
kid. It'll always have a special place in my heart.
oh, that's cool. So what was the most challenging thing about making the film?
It's a very silly answer, if you'd really like to know. The
I do.
most challenging part of the film, I've never been a waitress in my life as a job. And this is my first time playing a waitress. And just even keeping up with the busy work that I was giving myself in the background
Mhm.
for the day, I was so frazzled. And I've always had massive respect for those in the service industry because I know, good Lord, what they must have to go through and deal with and keep up with, and the stamina that they have is unreal. But after experiencing it myself, that I think that massive respect is now twofold, um, because it was a lot, and my brain was in every direction at the same time, and I don't know how I did it, but I somehow managed, and then I slept really well.
That's good. Yeah, it's a tough job. I still have nightmares about when I was a waitress.
I
I'm
can
like
only
turning
imagine.
around
Yeah,
and suddenly there's a whole bunch of people and they're all calling at me. I'm like, ah.
yeah, yeah.
So that's yeah. I had a lot of jobs like that. The only one that was like really fun that I have good dreams about was when I was working at an ice cream place in the mall. Because you know why? Because people are not are hungry when they go to a restaurant, but when they go to the ice cream place, they're really happy because ooh, they're gonna get ice cream.
Yeah, well, I give them the thing that makes them happy, and if
Right.
nobody can be angry at ice cream.
No, exactly. That
No.
was the most fun thing. Plus, I got to eat all the ice cream I wanted, so there's
Oh
that.
my gosh, that's
Yeah.
incredible. Better.
So, do you have, what do you like best about playing Cassie in general in the movie?
I loved the collaborative nature of it and sort of finding this character with not only the producers and director, but also with the other actors. But I think mostly for me, Cassie is very much the woman I was raised by, who is strong and the emotional support system in the face of anything and everything. And also, obviously incredible, accomplished women in their own right. And I'm just really grateful to have been raised by those women and to be able to bring that to screen and hopefully do them some honor in doing so.
That's great. Um, I have a spoiler question, so I'm going to say goodbye, but I'm not going to really leave, so I can cut out the spoiler question
Yes.
at the end because I don't want to do that. Okay. So thank you so much for talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
And let me just turn off